Hello guys, today we're going to take a look at a JJRC H31 Quadcopter. This was sent in to me by lighttake.com just to do another little review, and what we're going to do basically is give it a little test flight and see what it's like. I haven't had a quadcopter before, so you'll have to forgive my poor flying skills, but this seems like a good little helicopter or a good little quadcopter. It's only $31 and it flies around really quick. It seems pretty much like the little car we got from gearbest.com before. It's pretty cheap, but it seems really good. So let's take a look and see how we like it. So let's take a look at what we get in our kit here. So obviously we have our quadcopter and our controller. I'll talk you through some of the controls in a little while. We get a little 400 milliamp hour LiPo battery, 3.7 volts, same as we use in all our little tractors. We get a little USB charger, and you get a few spare parts. There's a couple of kind of crash rail things that you screw on to the edges of the quadcopter. You get some spare blades and a little screwdriver to put it all together, so that's really good stuff. You get the instruction manual, it's not too complicated to follow, and you get a pair of sunglasses. I guess if you're going to be watching this thing flying around in the sky, you could, I suppose, be blinded by the sun and crash it, or maybe the glasses are also there to prevent the quadcopter flying and hitting you in the face. The packaging it came in was pretty good. Its own box is quite strong, and then Lighttake had covered it in bubble wrap. It seemed to arrive in perfect condition. The box wasn't formed or anything for me. If you're interested in getting one for yourself, you'll find the link down in the description. So the thing is really strong. I have flown it and crashed it into concrete. I crashed it into the roof of the house, and it's a two-story house. I crashed it into the roof. I give it more power so that it didn't get caught in the gutter. It flew way up in the air and pretty much plummeted from the sky back down to earth, and perfectly fine. So it seems really tough in my opinion. So when you get your quadcopter out to start flying, first thing you do is turn on the controller. You see the light flashing on the controller. Then you hit the power switch on the quadcopter. The light will flash on that, and the one on the controller will become solid. You then need to push the throttle fully forward and back to initialize the quadcopter. The light on the quadcopter will stop flashing and you will hear a beep on the controller. You then need to calibrate it so it knows what a flying surface is. So put it on a flat surface and push both joysticks down and to the right. You'll hear a beep, and if you calibrate it on an uneven surface, every time you hit the throttle it will try to re-level itself to the angle that you calibrated it to. The controller itself is quite nice. The joysticks, there's 4 axes of control, and each axis has a potentiometer of its own. The fine tuning is done with push buttons, so a little bit crude, but it works pretty good. Has a nice little LCD as well, which is a nice feature. And there's 2 buttons on the top of the controller. The one on the right is for getting the quadcopter to do flips, and I think the other one puts it into headless mode so that you can make it do 1-key return and stuff like that, but I haven't figured that out yet. Maybe if I get it figured out, I'll do it in another video. The 400 milliamp hour battery lasts about 10 minutes I think, so it's pretty good. You get a good bit of time out of it. The quadcopter itself is really good. It's really fast, and the feature to flip the quadcopter is really simple. You know, you just have to get it up, hit the button, and set the direction, and away it goes. It seems pretty resilient to wind as well. It was quite windy when I was testing this one. You can see the trees moving in the background there, but we were going up fairly high with it, and it was able to fight the wind, and you know, it didn't seem to have much trouble doing it at all. You also don't need to be an expert to fly this. It's pretty straightforward. My dad was flying it here. He wouldn't have had any experience with RC helicopters or anything. I had a little bit, but still pretty new experience for me. But it was very simple to fly. Because it kind of balances itself all the time, you know, it does a lot of the work for you, which makes things pretty easy. You just kind of have to stop it from flying away from you. It'll look after keeping itself upright. But if you do want to do crazy stunts with it, make it do swirl around in the air in loops and stuff, I think once you put it into headless mode, it kind of turns off the nanny features, and you can pretty much get it to do anything you want, I think. There's also a little socket where you can plug in a camera if you buy that extra feature, and some mounting points for that. It doesn't send a video to the controller or anything, but you can control the camera from the controller and take pictures and videos, and it records it to a small little SD card, I think. So that's all I have to say about the quadcopter really. It seems to be a really good little machine. It's very light, it seems to be able to take a hell of a beating, and it just seems to keep going. I've seen other videos where they've put it underwater and they've damaged the blades, and it just seems to keep going. So I think it's really good. Thanks very much to Tech for sending it in. If you want to get your own quadcopter, you'll find the link in the description. I might take it apart and take a look at what's inside, but there's probably not going to be a whole lot in there, and because it seems to work underwater, I have my suspicions that the electronics are probably potted anyway, so we probably won't see anything. But maybe I'll take the controller apart and see what's in that. I'd say if you wanted to use the controller for something else, or you wanted to modify it, it's probably pretty easy. The joysticks, I'd say they have their own potentiometers there, so they're probably very easy to modify there. So it's probably a pretty good base if you're looking for a controller that you can use to put your own electronics into, maybe. So that's all I have to say about the quadcopter. I'll let the rest of the footage we shot continue to play here, but some of it's quite blurry because the camera had a hard time following the quadcopter, and I had a hard time keeping the quadcopter in shot, so you'll see the camera blur in and out. But thanks again to Tech for sending in the quadcopter, and I'll see the rest of you guys in the next video.